Welcome to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I am Coach Rob Simmons. I am here with my illustrious host, Donnell Johns. And of course, we have another special guest today. We have Rochelle, the Slay Queen Hemingway. She is the CEO of Slay to Success. Welcome to the show, young lady.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I was wondering how
Glad to
you
be
look at
here.
that sway. What is it? Sway, slay. I messed that
Slay.
up.
You went from sway to slay in 5 seconds.
I done messed it up.
I love it.
No, that's good. But Rochelle, tell our audience a little bit about your military history and background.
Mm. I went into the Air Force 1991 and I retired in 2021. So that's a span of 30 years in the Air Force. And I think a lot of times when we retire, we don't really understand the magnitude of what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on stage and I started to reel back a little bit about how I got there and what I was doing. So I left Kokomo, Indiana. That's where my dad retired. He was a recruiter in the Air Force. And one day I just decided to join the Air Force with my girlfriend. And she said, "Hey, let's do the buddy program." And at the time, you can go in with somebody else and, y'all be together, da 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 da. That's what they tried to sell us. She went into the Army, okay? And the recruiter said, "Yeah, we'll sign you up." But then, because my dad was a recruiter and the person that he used to work with, he said, "No, no, no, because your dad would have me. So you coming over here." So I ended up going into the Air Force and my girlfriend went into the Army. And then when I went into the Air Force, I was a medic. I did that for about 10 years. And then I went to school to become an independent duty medical technician. And I started to deploy all over the world doing medical care. And I did that for 10 years. I was a first sergeant for a few years on the inspector general's team. And then my last role, I was a command chief master sergeant at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. So there you are, 30 years. This goes by just like that.
Absolutely. 30 years. That's amazing.
And
Yeah.
30 years is a long time. So over those last 30 years, how did your military experience influence your journey into entrepreneurship?
It wasn't really a thought at first. Like a lot of times, you know what you're going to do. You have an idea of what you're going to do when you retire. And for me, I didn't know. I just was really anxious about retiring. We moved here from South Dakota without knowing anybody. I have family that live in DC and Maryland, but when you're in the military, you don't really see them like that. So we came out here on a risk. This was a risk just to come out here, start anew. My husband also served 30 years in the Air Force. He had retired about a year before me. And we just said, "Okay, Maryland." And I didn't really see entrepreneurship for myself. I always saw other people doing it, and I was like, "That's amazing. That's awesome. Like, I can never do that." So I wrote a book. So this is the book. I don't know if y'all can
Yeah, we can
see
see
it
it.
here. This is the catalyst right here. Because what I decided to do was to write about my experience in the military. And I had the word slay. I had been using the word slay for some years before I retired. And I just said, let me just see what this thing is about. Let me just write some things out. And then after I got book published, I saw people vending. So this is where I meet Donnell. Okay, because there was a Veterans Growing America event, and I volunteered for the very first time. It was like in June or July of 21. And I saw the vendors and everyone had a table. And I was like, oh, you know what I could do? I got a book, could set up a table. And just from that experience, everything else behind it, I started to see how I could create a business, did the LLC. And it wasn't until this past year that I really understood business. And now I can fully say that I am an entrepreneur and I am a businesswoman. Okay. So it takes some time, but I didn't really, I, I think what I did, I allowed myself to be free from all the things that I was doing in the military and just see what was hitting, see what I want to do, how I wanted to do. And then that's when I created the business.
That is amazing. I didn't know that. I thought you had already had the book and everything. And
I had the book, but I hadn't done anything with it.
really,
Hmm.
you wrote the book, you came to the event, and you were inspired by the event. What was next?
Yep. Then it was doing some more vending opportunities at Fort Meade. So I put up my table, right? Then it was people were calling on me to come do speaking engagement. The military at the time, and they still love me. They love me. They were calling, asking me if I could do promotion ceremonies, induction ceremonies, to be the keynote speaker and to bring in the books. And so that's how it started. And then I created a Facebook community and I had about 850, almost 900 women in this Facebook community.
Wow.
And I realized though that they were my fans. They were my supporters, right? They would come into the Facebook community and I was a leader and I just keep giving them all the encouragement. We going to slay this, and it was all confidence building, self-esteem, postings, telling them what I was doing and so forth and so on. But when I started to learn about business, I did some business programs. I'm like, these people ain't buying from me. These people ain't gonna buy. And if you got a business, it needs to generate revenue, right? So I archived the Facebook community, and that's when I started to really dig in with the business and things started to change. Just that one decision for me to say, hey, y'all, I love y'all. However.com. I got to move on and see what more can I do with this business.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about the unique proposition of the business. What does your business offer?
My business offers customized approaches for individuals. So I am a personal brand expert. As a personal brand expert, I make you look really good, all right, from head to toe, because I am a certified image consultant as well. But the people that are coming to me are highly successful. They're professionals in their own right, which I've already walked that walk. So I understand who they are and what they want to become. And so from the head to the toe, I'm talking about we go to the store. We don't just talk about it. We go to the store, you pick up the outfits, but it's in alignment with the personal brand. It makes you stand out apart from anybody in the crowd. My color is pink. All right. You always see me in pink when I'm out and about. Some form, pattern, something pink. And the engagement that I have with my clients. So I've got several clients that I'm working with right now. Each of them are different in their transition, but they're all veterans. So that is the uniqueness of it because you know how we are. When you know another military member or another veteran, we have that familiarity. We understand, we know the challenges, right? And so I'm a few steps ahead. That's all I am. I'm just a few steps ahead. So they're trying to get to become a speaker or an author or a writer or whatever the case may be. I help them to do that, but not only from the outside, but the inside as well, because it's a confidence thing. Once you've been in the military for a very long time, sometimes your confidence is waned a little bit because you see everybody else who have been doing what they've been doing in their business for a long time. So you have to build up your confidence again. And I'm an experience. I am not just a business owner. I'm an experience.
Speaking of the experience, let's get into the experience a little bit, and let's talk about the challenges that you faced during your transition into entrepreneurship. Because people don't know, I'm just gonna let y'all in on a secret. This stuff is challenging. And what kind of challenges did you face into entrepreneurship, and tell us how you got out of it, or you may still be in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm challenged every day. I think the first thing that came to my mind is people will automatically buy from me. Again, I had all these people in this community, and I'm just sharing that I'm doing virtual workshops and I got my books and all the things, and nobody was buying.
Mm,
And that was very hard for me because I felt like I was doing all the things right. What I wasn't doing right was talking to the right people. Okay, that wasn't my target audience, the people that were in that community. So I had to figure out who wanted my services, who were my actual clients. That was number 1. Number 2, I was on everybody's platforms, right? And meaning I thought I needed to post in Instagram, Facebook, and all the things. And then I realized you should be on one platform and give that platform all the love. Where are you getting all the love from? The love came from LinkedIn. So I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with LinkedIn. But that wasn't until about maybe 9 months ago or so because I was everywhere. Money, resources. That was another. I had to time it out and strategize. Now, as a chief, retired, we do get pretty good pension. All right. So we do have resources, if you will, but I had to be strategic. I couldn't go to all of the networking events, conferences, and all these little lunches and learns because then you wouldn't have no monies. And I was starting to feel that. I can't go. So I had to really start looking and budgeting and being mindful of where I was spending my time, how much money I was spending in those areas. But that's constant balancing family life. That's another challenge too. Because my husband's not an entrepreneur. He didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. What exactly are you doing? And why? Yeah. So it could be lonely. It could be a lonely road. Have felt like I was by myself at times until I got an accountability partner. And I was like, man, that makes a whole world of a difference when you have someone else who's in the same journey. And the other challenges was communicating what I did because I didn't have a statement, if you will. I didn't have a message. I didn't know how to tell them that what my company did and what it could do, what the results were. It was just like, CEO slate this experience. And they're just like, okay, what is that? And I try to explain to them. And it'd be like, it's still 2 hours of explaining. So you really have to figure out what is the best way to communicate to your ideal clients and to really budget and figure out exactly where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck.
So let me ask you this.
Hmm.
30 years, so you have a wealth of knowledge, a few years of business experience. What is some advice or some key lessons that you learned in the military that you can now, that has transitioned into entrepreneurship?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got several. So one is discipline. It's so funny to me because people have came to me and said, "Man, you're so consistent. You show up every day. You're doing the work." And that's what we had to do in the military, right? If you didn't show up, somebody come looking for you. All
mhm.
right. And then you're gonna be held accountable. So it's the same way that I think about my business. If I don't show up for my business ain't doing nothing. It's gonna rot, it's gonna get stagnant, and there's no fruit.
Can you say
Okay.
that one more
And
time? Can you say that one more time for the cheap seat?
what's that?
Say it one more time. If you don't show up at the
You know what
business,
it says?
what happens?
it gets stagnant and stale, and there's nothing. You're producing nothing. And I I know that people have challenges with that. So it is a competitive advantage for us as military members, right? Like we have the discipline. And there was a military member I was speaking to here recently, and they're like, I had discipline, but not self discipline. And I was like, think about it. All right. If you don't want to do certain things, right? Like people talk about motivation and, oh, you should be motivated. It's not the motivation that's going to get you, it's the discipline. It's the habits that you form every single day. And if you have those I have three simple habits that they are must do's in the business. If you do right, huh?
I said, give it to us.
Give it to you. Okay. One is I'm posting. Okay. I'm on LinkedIn every day. I don't care if I make people upset or whatever. It's not my issue. My issue is I am the CEO, okay, of this business company. So I'm on LinkedIn, so you'll see that. Number two, I answer emails because it's in the follow-up. People are always reaching out. I must do that every day. Three, I work out every day. It's a non-negotiable because I'm about myself and taking care of myself because I want longevity in this business like I had longevity in my military career. So if you can have the discipline, which we have had, that is one of those skills that you can translate easily. Number two is grit. Yeah, okay. I don't know about y'all, okay, but when I was in the military, I was outrunning all the young ones at 30 years with no profile, okay? Because I understood the importance of leading from the front. Now, I might had a little twinge here and there or pain in my knee or my back or whatnot, but that grit, when you pull down and you just say, you know what, I'm gonna give it all I got. That's what you should be thinking about, right? And you're in your business. It's the grit. There are days when you don't want to do the work. There are days when you're dead tired and you're like, "Ugh, I gotta get up and do this again." Yeah, you gotta get up and do this again. And I think the other thing is we are social butterflies. People say I'm an introvert or that, but in the military, it forces you to get along with people, right? You have to do some teamwork, team building, whatnot. So when I'm networking, I don't ever meet a stranger. I always have something in common with somebody. So going up to people and talking to them and having that gift of gab that we often have, it's an advantage. So using these skills on a regular basis can definitely help you to move the needle, okay? Because it's a slow needle, but it moved the needle a little bit to building your business.
No, those were solid. Those were solid advice. People, I saw this quote the other day where it says people will show up for 40 years for someone else, but they won't even put in 3 years of hard work for themselves.
It's true. It's really true. But they didn't teach us about business when I was in the military.
Mhm.
I was working hard every day. I never could just lay back and just do whatever. And so our generation, I think, is more apt now to look into being a business owner because we have been, I hear it all the time. People have gotten the watch at 40 years, right? You get the watch. You work for the watch. I'm not working for no watch. No, that's no. And I've been there, done that. Been there, done that. We all have had the leadership experience. And working for yourself is hard, but it's rewarding because you get to say, I did that. I did that. I made that happen. Until you get a team. Look, I'm a one woman show right now. So I'm like, I'm making these things happen. I get to make the decisions. I get to put as much effort as I want in the business. And if I do need to take a rest, I will, but I'm very passionate about what I do. So I'm like, oh, good. That's so good.
No, I love that. I love that. Can you tell and share with the audience your experience with Veterans Growing America?
Oh, yes, I sure can. Okay, so they already heard the first one on volunteering. And that was simply by looking on Facebook. And we had been here for maybe a month or two. And I was like, I need something to do. And that's when I looked and saw that Veterans Growing America had an vending day. So I volunteered. And then after that, when you were at the Woodbridge location, I said, hey, I need to go put up a booth up there. And I did that a few times. And I got to learn from other business owners that were there. And I think that for me, it helped me to get to where I'm at right now. Because right now I am moving, y'all. There's not a day here that I don't have something that's a money-making activity. All right. So that's what I call them. But your organization and the way that you bring people in definitely builds the confidence level that you need to say, you know what, I could do this. I see other veterans doing this. I could do this too.
No, I love that. I love that. You reminded me of when you said about the watch. I was like, we get watches in the military, but they call it something different.
Okay, first of all, how do you have that right there?
I just
That's
took
I
it
have
off.
mine in my closet in a bucket somewhere. I don't even know.
I serve the military community, and whenever I wear my tuxedo, I do
Oh,
on. I was like, you know what, I can't let them die somewhere. So I was like, my watch, I gotta wear my watch. You know what I mean?
yeah. That was one of the things that my dad, he retired from Delphi Electronics, and they were talking about this watch, and I'm like, "What are we talking about right now? A watch for all the work that you do? Where's the money at? Okay, where is the money?" So, yeah,
You cannot
times
leave
have changed.
you cannot leave a legacy for your family with a watch unless it's a
No, unless it's a Rolex.
and so I'm gonna pass it over to my co-host to close us out.
Hey, Rochelle, we definitely want to thank you for coming on. But before we take off, do you have any parting words for the listeners?
I would like to share with everyone, especially if you're an entrepreneur, not quit. Once you get started, don't quit. There will be days when you feel like nothing's working, nothing is happening, no one's calling, and you're going to feel defeated. These are normal feelings because if you stop, there's going to be regret. I can guarantee you're going to look back and say, I should have just kept going because you were so close. You're so close. And it's just a matter of working the business, doing the simple things every single day, having the support, and really finding out what your ideal clients need and solving the problems. So I would say that for sure. The other is it's never too late. It's never too late. Even if you've retired and you've been retired for 10 years, if you have a dream or you have an idea and you're just sitting on it because you feel like your time has passed on, I'll tell you, I'm 52 years old. So don't let that be the factor as to why you don't do it. Because again, that regret and knowing all the skills that you've had, you can definitely build a business and make a great business, not only for yourself, but for your family or whoever it is that you have around you supporting you.
52 is
so
25.
Huh?
I said 52 is the new 25.
Oh yeah. Look, we out here running these streets. These young people think that they run the street. No. We pulling up now. We're like, nope, it's not your time.
yeah,
Not your
it's time
time.
for y'all to shut it down. We still we still got now.
Yeah, we still got now.
Hey, so it's shameless plug time. Where can we find your business? How do we get a hold of you? Plug us in.
I am on www.slate2, which is TO, success.com. I'm can be found on LinkedIn at Rochelle Hemingway. I'm on IG at the Slave Boss Lady. I am on the YouTube channel. I have a talk show. Actually, I have two talk shows. Slate to Success talk show. Pretty much just put my name in, Rochelle Hemingway. Google me, because I always challenge people to Google me and tell me which.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Donnell, how can people continue to support Veterans Growing America?
Oh man, so many different ways. And I got to share a new product that we have for our members. So we just started a digital magazine. If y'all go to our page, veteransgrowingamerica.com, and you click on shop, it will take you to our two locations, one in Woodbridge, one in Clarksburg, and then now our digital magazine. That digital magazine also, if you're a member of our organization, you will also be able to get on My City Connected, which is a social platform where you can sell your products. You could also share your business, and then you can also communicate and collaborate with those people that are connected to you. So visit us on all social media platforms, Veterans Growing America on everything. And then you know what they got to do?
Shop, baby.
Stop, baby.
Rochelle, thank you. Thank you again. Truly appreciate you and I hope you have much, much more success in your business.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's happening.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I feel good. Yeah. I got some negotiations. So I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
We are over and out.